So today I've got my hands on the brand new GMK NucBox Mini PC. And check out the size of this thing. So they're calling this a mini PC, but they should really call this a super mini PC or super micro PC, because this is what a regular mini PC looks like. So it's small, compact and relatively powerful. It's running full Windows 10, supports 4K HDMI output. You do have a built-in cooling fan, and the internal SSD storage is actually upgradable. So let me quickly run through the specs. So this is powered by the Intel Celeron J4125 quad-core, clocked at 2.7 GHz. For graphics, you have the Intel Ultra HD 600. You've got 8 gigs of DDR4 RAM and 128 gigs of M2 SSD storage, and that M2 SSD storage is upgradable up to 512 gigs. Now you do also have a MicroSD card slot which supports up to 128 gigs. You've got built-in dual-band Wi-Fi AC, Bluetooth 4.2, this supports USB 3, and you do have 2 USB 3 ports on the back. This comes pre-installed with Windows 10 64-bit license, and this box also claims to support 4K at 60 frames per second. So first of all, let's quickly check out what you get inside the box. So you get a user manual and a 24-volt USB-C power supply. Now the mini PC is made from a combination of metal and plastic. So you got this metal space gray base, plastic with rubberized finish on top. You've got the GMK logo with the cooling fan vent on the top. At the front, you've got a physical power button, and it's so small in size with a small LED indicator just above it. You've got the Intel inside logo. If we keep going, on the side, you've got a microSD card slot and a headphone jack. And on the back, you've got Type-C power, your 4K HDMI output, you've got 2 USB 3 ports, and then on this side, there is nothing, and that brings you back to the front of the box. This is what the bottom of the box looks like. So this mini PC is upgradable, so I'm going to check out the internals. So remove these 4 sticky pads at the bottom, and that would expose 4 screws. Get those screws open. So 4 screws have been removed. Now we need to take the lid off, so just tilt it upside down and the lid will fall off, and then you'll see your SSD. So here we have a 128 gigabyte M.2 2242 SSD. Just open that screw, remove that drive, and then you can swap it out for a maximum of 512 gigs. And you can also expand via MicroSD if you prefer to do so. Alright, so I'm just going to see if I can carefully lift this off to check out some of the internal components. So you can see the power button has fallen off. Just want to quickly show you what the internals look like. It's actually quite incredible how this has been constructed. The size of the boards, the size of the internal components, that is quite incredible. And on top of that, the ability to be able to upgrade the internal storage is definitely a plus point. There's the power button. Let's just slot it in place. And hopefully that power button sits in place. Yep, totally fine. I'm going to put that on like that. So let's put the screws back on. So that's how you upgrade the internal storage for the GMK NucBox Mini PC. So without any further ado, I am going to get this hooked up to my TV and capture card, and we are going to find out exactly how good the GMK NucBox really is. I'll be right back. So first of all, I ran a boot up speed test, and this mini PC took exactly 25 seconds to fully boot up from a cold start. And here is the desktop. This is the full version of Windows 10 Home. It comes with all the usual Windows apps you would expect to find, including the Windows App Store, where you can download all your favorite apps and games. So this is basically a full PC experience in a mini compact size. This system is powerful enough to run all your regular Windows applications and can also play quite a few games from the Windows Store, including Modern Combat 5 and Asphalt 9. Now let's check out the system properties, and as you can see, we have Windows 10 Home with the Intel Celeron J4125 clocked at 2 GHz, 8 gigs of RAM, 64-bit OS, and it's already activated and ready to use. Moving on to system storage info, we have 128 gigs of internal storage, from which we have 118 gigs which are usable, and from that we have 91.5 gigs free to use. Now I've just attached my 128 gig flash drive containing all my 4K video samples. So let's go ahead and play some 4K video from a USB drive. So first up, testing out the 160 megabits per second 4K jellyfish demo, and as you can see, it's playing nice and smooth. I also tested out the 180 megabits per second 4K demo, which also looks pretty good to me. And just to see what this mini PC can do, I tested the 400 megabits per second jellyfish demo, and again, it's playing pretty smooth. So it looks like this mini PC does handle 4K high bitrate videos perfectly fine. Now let's see how this mini PC handles 4K 60 FPS HDR videos from a USB drive. Alright, time for some 4K YouTube streaming.
You're running away from something? Running away from myself, I guess.
Hey kid, a little young for a bartender, aren't you?
A little old for prom, aren't you?
So next up, I loaded up Netflix from the web browser and I was able to stream a maximum of 1080p.
5.
So now I'm testing the multitasking capabilities of this mini PC. I've opened a whole bunch of applications and games all at the same time, just to see how the system copes. And as you can see, I have lots of stuff open. You can hear it all playing in the background at the same time. The system is actually handling it very well. I don't feel any lag or slowdown. I have at least 2 or 3 games open at the same time, and I'm even watching YouTube videos on top of all of those applications, and no lag at all. So powerful multitasking performance from such a tiny mini PC. So now it's time for some gaming, and we're going to be playing Asphalt 9 Legends. And here are the results for the Wi-Fi speed test. We achieved download speeds of 61 and upload speeds of 18 megabits per second. And for your information, this is typically the top speed we achieve in our office. Now this mini PC has achieved a CPU benchmark score of 3039. So let's see how this compares to the other mini PCs of this year. So here is my top performing mini PC chart for 2021, allowing you to compare these specs, prices and features. And all of these mini PCs you see have been ranked by their CPU pass mark score. So higher the pass mark score, the more powerful performance you can expect. So the GMK NucBox has taken position 6 on this chart with a pass mark score of 3039. Now you can view all my latest charts online at chixtech.com and read them at your leisure. So there you have it guys, that was the GMK NucBox, a tiny mini PC offering a very decent performance from that quad-core Celeron chipset. This mini PC supports smooth 4K streaming and 4K USB playback. You have a cooling fan to keep the performance consistent. Games like Asphalt 9 and Modern Combat downloaded from the Windows Store play absolutely fine. You can also play emulation games like PSP, N64, SNES and lots more with pretty good performance. This mini PC is ideal for web browsing, video streaming, office applications and pretty good for schoolwork too. I even tested light 1080p video editing and it handles it very well. So tiny, space-saving form factor. In fact, this mini PC is easy to travel with. It would probably fit in your pocket if you wanted it to. Internal storage is also upgradable. I achieved a strong Wi-Fi connection throughout my tests with no dropouts or issues. There is no Ethernet built in, but you can plug in a USB hub with Ethernet and that works absolutely fine. So charming little mini PC which impressed me with its capabilities and performance. Highly recommended, especially at the current selling price. I will leave the links for you in the description box below. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.